Hey, everybody. I'm so excited for you to be here with me tonight for my webinar. I haven't done one in a little while, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll just give you guys a few minutes to hop on the line before we get started. So I just wanted to say that I just came back from San Diego. I was at a business conference with my coach and about 50 other awesome entrepreneur women. And honestly, it was one of the most inspiring experiences I've ever had. Probably some of the best days of my life ever. And since that time, I have just been so fired up and passionate. And I'm so excited to share with you guys what I have to share tonight and to tell you a little bit about me if you don't know me at all. And if you do, you'll hear a similar story of what you've heard before, but I'm going to share with you some really cool tips and tricks that I've implemented over the last few years that have really helped me with my health and with my sleep. And as you know, my first summit last May was on sleep. And so many of you who are here are from that webinar or that summit. So welcome, welcome. You guys have been following me a long time. So thank you. I love talking with all of you and communicating by email and by phone. Also, another thing, if you guys have emailed me in the last few days, I've had some glitches with my email inbox, and there were a few people who said they emailed me, but I didn't get their email at all. So if it was something important, please email me again, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. If anything comes up during this webinar that I don't address and you want to ask a question, you can go ahead and join our Facebook group called Circle of Dreams, or you can also email me at leannesoller@gmail.com. So I see people are jumping on the line, and I just wanted to say welcome to everybody who's here. I'm really excited. It's my first webinar of 2016, and I am so jazzed about 2016. I know that it's going to be the best year ever for me, and I know it's going to be the best year for you as well. And so yeah, so that's really just what I wanted to say. And I think we're going to get started because I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time and mine. And I have a Zumba class to get to after this call. So yeah, I'm actually in my Zumba clothes, which is why I didn't show you guys my face beforehand. I'm not all prettied up like I normally am for my webinars. So I hope that's okay with all of you. And I have my phone next to me in case anybody isn't seeing the slides or can't hear me or whatever. So feel free to post in the Facebook group or send me a personal Facebook message to let me know if there's any glitches. I'm just going to check quickly before we get started to see if there's anything. And there we go. Okay. So sleep for success, how to wake up every day feeling well rested and ready to take on the day. So as many of you know, I did my first summit last May of 2015 on sleep. It was called the Sweet Sleep Summit. And it drew in thousands of you guys to my summit. And it was really all about teaching you strategies to get better sleep so that you could wake up in the morning feeling amazing, having as much energy as you needed to tackle your busy day. It gave you some really, really awesome tips, and there were more than 20 interviews available at that time. It was a huge success. And after that, I kind of decided that I wanted to move in a little bit of a different direction and start working with entrepreneurs, because I'm sure many of you know I'm also an entrepreneur, obviously, and I absolutely love entrepreneur women. I love women who I can relate to, who go through similar struggles to me. Not that I don't love women who are not entrepreneurs, but I did feel that a little bit more of a connection with women who are wanting to start a business. And so I was trying to think of a way to kind of merge my health coaching with business. And I've come up with this amazing idea, and I'll be sharing it with you guys over the coming months. And but basically, I've decided that I'm going to work with women entrepreneurs and help them to really maximize their health, take care of themselves, mind, body, and spirit, so that they can really skyrocket their business success. And it's not only necessarily business success. It can be, success in health, success in life, success in relationships, success in your career. So anyone who's really busy and wanting to up-level their health so that they can really live their dream lifestyle. And you've heard me use that term before, live your dream lifestyle. That's actually the name of my 1-year program. Anyway, so if you don't know me, my name is Leanne Soller. I am a health coach for entrepreneurs, and I'm really excited that you guys are here with me on this webinar. In this webinar, I'm going to teach you my secrets to getting a good night's sleep. I'm going to tell you why sleep is so important for your success in business, but also in life. And I'll share a little bit about my routine that has been working for me that really helps me to sleep soundly through the night. I get 7, 8, sometimes even 9 hours of sleep a night. And that has also, this routine has also helped me feel super energetic and has really changed the tempo of my business and my success in my business, the money that I've made, the relationships I've been able to create, the productivity, all that good stuff. And then at the end, I'm going to share the do's and don'ts for successful sleeping. So that's what I'm going to be sharing on this webinar. And it's going to be a lot of content. So I just want you to sit back and relax and kind of take in what's going to be important for you. I don't want you to worry too much about madly taking notes, because there will be a replay available after the webinar. You'll get an email about it about 15 minutes after 7. So 7:15, I have an email scheduled to go out to give you the replay. That will be available for 48 hours, but you do have time to listen to it if you want to listen to it again. So if you're driving or you're busy and you're kind of just listening to this in the background, don't worry about taking notes. You definitely will have access afterwards. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm sure that you have watched a lot of webinars. So thank you, first of all, for being here and for taking the time out of your day to be with me live. I'm sure you've also hired coaches or watched summits or read books or paid for products or services that didn't work for you. And they promise results, but you didn't get the results that were promised. And I totally get it, because that has happened to me too. And I just want to say, I get it. I know what that's like. And sometimes it's hard to trust people because you have been failed so many times. But this webinar is going to be different. I'm actually sharing with you secrets that have worked for me and also for my clients. But what's really great about this webinar is I'm going to give you some strategies that you can use or not use. It's really up to you. It's totally personal, and I'm going to give you an opportunity at the end of this call to really even personalize it further. So make sure you stay on till the end to take me up on that offer. And I'm going to give you a few success stories from my clients in a few slides, because I know that some of you might be skeptical. Who is this person? Da da da. And I'll just tell you a little bit about me now, and then I'll go into some success stories. So this is me. I don't look all gussied up like that today. This is actually a photo shoot that I got done over the summer. And so I wanted to tell you why I'm here tonight. And, why you're here probably is you're just curious. You want to know how to sleep, how to sleep successfully, what this is all about. So I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you're here. So a bit about me. So when I started my business about 2 years ago, I'm sure all of you have heard this part of the story. I had no clue what I was doing. I was a complete mess. I was like, yeah, cool, I'm going to be a health coach. And then nothing happened. I did what all entrepreneurs do. I was a great learner. I loved to learn. And so I would watch dozens and dozens and dozens of webinars every week. I spent all of my time doing Facebook ads, spending money on Facebook ads, posting on Pinterest, creating graphics on Pinterest, Twitter, auto scheduling my posts, all that stuff. blogging, filming videos, redesigning my website, and nothing was happening. And I'm sure that, that you can relate to that. I wasn't making any money. In fact, I was totally spending money on nothing. I was just like spending money left and right on things that were not working for me. I was working all the time because I thought that, it wasn't working. So I thought, well, if I just work harder, maybe it'll come easier to me. And I was also really stressed out because of all this work that I was putting in and I wasn't getting results. The stress that I was experiencing caused me to have insomnia. I woke up in the middle of the night, like every single night, with heart palpitations, sweat, anxiety, mind racing. And I often didn't fall back asleep for a good 2 or 3 hours afterwards. This went on for about like more than a year. And as you can imagine, I would wake up in the morning feeling like a zombie. I'm sure you've had those mornings. And as you can imagine, I would wake up feeling like exhausted and couldn't focus, and I wasn't productive. I was cranky. And I just kept thinking, why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? And of course, being so tired, it prevented me from accomplishing anything in my business. So whether I was spending dozens of hours on webinars a week didn't matter because I couldn't get anything accomplished. I would spend hours just looking at my Facebook feed and procrastinating because I just couldn't even think about what I had to do next or what I wanted to do next. So I wouldn't get anything accomplished during the day, and I'd go to bed with an even longer to-do list than I had in the morning. I'm sure, I felt hopeless, and I'm sure that you know what this is like because a lot of you who I've spoken to have told me that you've experienced insomnia for a long time and that it's really affected so many areas of your life. And this is just one area where it affected me in my business. I obviously was affected in my family and my friends and my health and all that. And you've heard my story, that part of the story on other webinars. But specifically with business, I couldn't do anything and couldn't accomplish anything. And I can't really remember the exact moment. I wish I had written this down, but one day after a really long time of no sleep and that stress and the lack of success and that vicious cycle that was just happening, I kind of knew in my gut that I needed to change. And there were a few different options that I was considering at that time. Either I could just live with insomnia and just deal with it, which was not an option for me, or I could take medication, which also was not an option for me and is something that I really don't recommend, and that has been a huge issue for a lot of my clients who are trying to wean off of sleep medication. And the other solution, which sounded a lot more appealing to me, was holistic. And because I was a health coach, I had a lot of resources available to me in terms of, different supplements and stress reduction techniques and things that really could work for me. So I definitely did a lot of research on sleep remedies, stress reduction, and the business side. I just hired a coach and dealt with that. Like, I have a coach now and she's going to tell me what I need to do. And so that business aspect was taken care of. So I just needed to deal with the rest of it, deal with the sleep issue. And at first, when I tried the sleep remedies and the stress reduction techniques that I'm going to tell you about in a bit, I failed. I tried multiple times to do things. There were things that I chose that were like, oh yeah, that looks like it might work. And I'd do it for one night and it wouldn't work. And so I'd just get discouraged and I'd move on to the next thing. And I'd try that and it didn't work. And so I just got discouraged and moved on to the next thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then what I realized, which is actually a lesson that I learned from my business coach, was that if I didn't commit to something and give it a real shot, that nothing was ever going to work. And this is a really important point that I want to drive home to you guys now. If this is the only thing you get from this webinar, I want you to remember this: that commitment is key. You have to commit for anything to work. And I talk about commitment a lot with my clients and with potential clients. And the main reason why people don't step forward to work with me is because they're afraid to commit to the financial commitment, the time commitment. They're afraid that they don't trust themselves, that they're going to be able to commit to working with me one-on-one for a year because other things have failed them. So I don't want to get too off track here, but I just wanted to say that commitment is a huge piece. And once I decided that I had to commit to my sleep, and because it was important to me, and because I wanted to get over my insomnia and I wanted to have a normal life again, I was committed. I was committed to making something work. And I just kept trying. It was trial and error, trial and error. One thing, another thing, combination that didn't work. I threw that away. And finally I hit it, and I hit the nail on the head. And I'm still evolving with my sleep routine, but I've gotten it down now to a few really important things that I do every day that I'm going to share with you that have really, really helped me and that have been pivotal in my success with sleep. So the next thing I just want to share is some success stories. So these are just a few that recently with some clients that I have. So I didn't want to use their names because they, for privacy purposes, but the first client, LJ, when she first came to work with me, she was only sleeping a few hours a night. She was waking up in the middle of the night with her head spinning. She kept thinking about negative stuff, and I'm not going to get too much into her personal story, but she was going through a lot at the time, a lot of things in her personal life. And this was really causing a lot of anxiety and self-doubt and resentment. So she wasn't sleeping very well at all. And she wanted to play with her grandchildren, and she wanted to lead a normal life, fulfilled life, and she just wasn't able to do that. And with in our 3-month contract, we were able to, within the first 3 months of the contract, we were able to have her sleeping through the night peacefully and waking up feeling refreshed. And the nice thing about that is once you actually get to sleep through the night, you see the world in such a different way, and your mood is so different, and things that seemed like they were so important and so awful and that you couldn't find the solution, you just see the solution in front of you, and it's just so obvious. But when you're sleep deprived, nothing seems to work. So this was a really important lesson for her. The second person is an amazingly awesome woman who has a young daughter. She has sleep apnea, and she had been waking up several times. She also has a few other things that cause her pain and discomfort in the night, waking up several times in the night, waking up every 1 to 2 hours. Talk about not sleeping. And having to take care of her daughter and bring her to school and help her with her homework and take care of her husband. And then now she's sleeping at least 6 or 7 hours every night. And this is all after 6 months of working together. So both of these clients were able to, with some simple tweaks, were able to successfully sleep through the night. And I'm going to tell you what those tweaks were, but I want to tell you first why sleep is so important. In case you haven't figured it out already, these are just a few of the things that are important when you think about sleep. So sleeping for success. So if you're a busy entrepreneur or a busy professional, you may just not have time. You think you don't have time to sleep, and you might be asking yourself why do I need to sleep when I could be doing other things that are more important? I do know a lot of people who say things like that. And I actually read a magazine article recently where this very successful entrepreneur, I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about how he never slept and he didn't need to sleep, and that he only needed to sleep 3 hours a night, and it was a waste of time. And anyway, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I can't believe this is actually out in the world. But a lot of people actually think this way, and they just say, that there's a saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And it's a saying for a reason. It's not just there because nobody uses it. People do. But think of it this way. The world's most successful entrepreneurs talk about sleep and the importance of sleeping for success. There are a few exceptions of people who can get by on no sleep, and those people are just metabolically weird. It's not a normal phenomenon for people to be able to be highly successful and also not sleeping. It's just not normal. So for example, people like Arianna Huffington, the owner of Huffington Post, she actually has these special pods in her office where you can actually take sleeping breaks and naps while you're at work. This increases, productivity and clarity, and all that good stuff. And she allows her employees to take that opportunity. There's Bill Gates of Apple Computers, the late Bill Gates, and many, many, many more. So why do these people talk about sleep so much? Well, I've listed a few reasons on this slide, and honestly, there could be like 500 slides about this, about why we should be sleeping in order to be successful in business, but also in life. And obviously, there is more reasons that I didn't put on this slide, but hopefully these are enough to kind of convince you and give you a strong why in committing to changing your sleep habits if you are not experiencing successful sleep right now. I want you to think about how important it is to you. Look at the slide. Think about all of the amazing benefits you'll be getting if you are sleeping through the night. And then just commit to paying attention to the rest of this webinar presentation and take me up on my offer that I'm going to give you at the end of this presentation. Okay, so my sleep routine. And I actually didn't write out any slides, any notes on this slide because I wanted to just go off the cuff with it. I don't really like preparing slide content because often I just go with what's in my heart and my soul at the moment, and I kind of just let it flow. I like to be myself and very natural on webinars. I hope that shines through for you guys. So, but I will give you a few details, and you can re-listen to this recording if you want those details. And but the thing is, my sleep routine there's only a few really important details that you can to remember, and the rest of it is all just personal. So what my sleep routine looks like. Okay, so I just to kind of work backwards, because I think this is really important when you're considering a sleep routine, work backwards from the time that you're planning on going to bed. So the time that you want to go to bed and fall asleep. And for me, that's 10 p.m. One of my experts from the Sleep Summit recommended 9 p.m. because the more hours you get of sleep before midnight, those are the most rejuvenating and rehabilitating and healing hours of the day. And so you want to make sure you are getting as many hours of sleep as possible before midnight. So keep that in mind when you're considering what time you're going to bed. If you're going to bed at 1 a.m., you need to reconsider your sleep routine. So 10 p.m. is my sleep time. So I work backwards from there, and about 2 hours before bedtime, I have a deadline for getting off any social media or laptop or computer. This is just because of the lighting behind the screen. Yes, of course, there are lots of gadgets that you can use to be able to stay on your computer for all night if you want to. But honestly, I like to have a life, and you need to disconnect at some point. And being stimulated by social media and news and violence all the time is honestly, it's just not conducive to sleeping soundly. So getting off your laptop or your computer or stopping work at 8 o'clock, even if you're not on a laptop, if you're just working, I would say like 2 hours before bed would be a really good time to commit to. So 8 p.m. is my deadline for getting off of my laptop. Honestly, this is like very rare that I'm actually on my computer at that time. I normally don't work after 6 p.m. Some nights I take calls when I'm in sales, but normally not. So this is just this is like a really, really last minute, like late deadline, conservative deadline, I should say. And then between 8 and 9:30, I just do things that help me relax. So whether that's reading, listening to a podcast. Last night I listened to Wayne Dyer, and it was so awesome. He has such a nice, calming voice, and what he says is so inspirational. So that's a really good example of a podcast to listen to. I listen to relaxing music sometimes. I put on some essential oils. I take a bath. I take a shower. I put on some warm pajamas. I make some tea, and so those are some of the things that I do between 8 and 9:30. And then between 9:30 and 10, that's really like my get ready for bedtime. This is the time where I put on my pajamas, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I get into bed, and then I do a sleep meditation, which I've been doing for many months now, every single night when I'm home. And it's by Meditation Oasis, and it's called Relax and Into Sleep. And it is awesome. It is so awesome. It's an 18-minute podcast, and I actually recommended it to a friend the other day, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this was amazing. I fell asleep immediately." So this is a fabulous idea for you. meditationoasis.com. You can download the podcast. They have it on iPhone. I don't know if they have it on Android yet, but that's what I do. And so this is what my routine looks like now. So 8 o'clock is the deadline for laptop, 8 to 9:30 relax, and 9:30 to 10 is get ready for bed, 10 and meditation, 10 is fast asleep. And normally I'm fast asleep by 10. If it's not like 10:05 or 10:10, that's fine. That's okay. I try to stick to as close to 10 p.m. as possible. And this is like a really, really simple routine because I just do what works for me. And I've been able to sleep successfully for, oh my gosh, like maybe a year and a half, which is so awesome. I'm so happy that I've come through that. So like I said earlier, it doesn't really matter what the details of my routine are, but it does matter what's important. The important thing to remember is the stopping work at least 2 hours before bed, if at all possible. Really just commit to it. A lot of people say like, oh, I need to work all the way till bedtime. No, you don't. You can prioritize your day. You can change around things. Time is an illusion. I actually said that to a client today, and she was like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of really successful people who have way more things on their plate than you do, and they still stop work at 5 o'clock at night. And she's like, oh, you're so right. So just think about that. So stopping work at least 2 hours before bed, and then relaxation before bed. Relaxation before bed is key. This is key to reduce your stress, to get your body and your mind and your spirit ready for falling asleep. And these are really important when you're considering creating your nighttime routine. So having a nighttime routine that is regular in your schedule is super important. I am the queen of routines. I love routines. And the reason is because your body and your mind gets used to doing the same thing over and over again. So it becomes almost mechanical, like you don't have to think about it anymore, which is awesome, right? Like, it's so awesome. So your body just knows like, oh yeah, it's time now. I need to start getting ready for bed. Okay, just a little breather here. I was on client calls all day, so my throat's a little sore, but I love talking to you guys, so I'm excited. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is relaxation, because I just mentioned relaxation to you, but you may be like, oh, I wish she gave me some examples, so I will. Okay. And that, honestly, that's a really important thing that people miss in their routine, is the relaxation. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to bed at 10. Crap, it's 9:55. I should probably run and get in bed, but that's not a good way to do it. Relaxation, it's the key to getting a good night's sleep. And it's really like the missing link that a lot of people forget. It's important. Okay, so from my last slide, I just talked to you a little bit about, for me, what relaxation is reading, podcasts, music, and then my pre-bed relaxation is meditation. So for my clients, I prescribe many different things based on their preferences and their struggles. So here's a really great exercise for you, is just to start thinking about what in your life, what you like to do that relaxes you. What are some things that you do that help you to feel relaxed and take you into that state of relaxation? And this is a great journaling exercise. Just start writing things down. If you're not doing anything relaxing right now, we definitely need to get on the phone, but just think about things that you used to do in the past, or something that you are like, oh, I wish I had the time to do that. It looks so relaxing. Do it. Like, do it, honestly. Okay, so there's a few different things that I say for people who are struggling with falling asleep, or people who are struggling with staying asleep. There's a few different things that I recommend. So think about which one your issue is. If it's both, that's fine. Just do all the things that I talk about. But if it's falling asleep, relaxation is super important. So breathing exercises, yoga, stretching, taking a hot bath or a shower, massage, self-massage, meditation. These are all really, really great relaxation tools. And if you want to learn more or know more about these, you can always shoot me a quick email or get on the phone with me. But these are all really great. And then the other thing is those who are struggling with staying asleep. I prescribe journaling, writing your to-do list before bed. This is so important. I actually had a whole video series on your to-do list. And then the other thing is just, not putting too many projects on your plate, just doing one thing at a time and focusing on what you're doing in the present moment. Because we often look at so far into the future that we get so stressed out about the big picture of our life that we just get stressed and we can't sleep. And this is really normal, but just try focusing on one thing at a time. That's something that I really, really am very, keen on with my clients. And they're always like, oh, but what are we going to do after we do this? No, no, no. You do that now and we'll do the next thing later. So I want you to think about your relaxation routine, and what it looks like. And do you have one? And if not, then you need to start one. You need to start one. And the other thing is, honestly, guys, like, relax before bed and during the day. Like, it's not only for bedtime. Imagine how peaceful your life could be if you weren't running around with it like a chicken with your head cut off. Honestly, since I started incorporating relaxation and taking breaks and breathing into my day, I've just seen such a shift, and I can connect so much better with my clients, with my friends, with my own self, and I'm more creative. Relaxation is like, it's so important, and it's so lost in translation with all the social media and like, we need this thing done right now, right now, right now. People are just so stressed out, and I just hate it. Anyway, relax, people, relax. That's my go-to. That's my message. Oh, one thing that I wanted to share is I do this with my clients, and it's actually awesome. I have them keep a journal about things that work when they try something and they're trying to incorporate things into their routine. I actually have them write their routine down. And then they have their list of things that help them relax. They have their routine then after that, based on what they've written down for the relaxation. They put in the times that they're going to do those things. And then they pick and choose things based on how they're feeling. They test it out. If it doesn't work, then they try something else, and we just keep tweaking. So I definitely recommend keeping track of what is and is not working, so you can come up with your personalized relaxation nighttime routine. All right, do's and don'ts of sleep. This first slide. I actually have 3. So guys, seriously, there's like so many that I could tell you about, but I'm gonna just go through a few very simple ones. And it's funny because you hear do's and don'ts, but then you always seem to be reading the don't before the do. And so I was like practicing my presentation the other day, and I'm like, oh, this looks weird. I should have put the don'ts on the left, but anyway, it's fine. I like to think positively, but I will start with the don'ts because that's just it's just easier to present that way. So the first don't is work on your computer or watch TV right up until bedtime. And that is something that I used to do when I was in university. I used to sit in my bed with my computer, and I would work, and I would, I was like, oh, I'm so inspired right now. I'm just going to keep writing my thesis. And then I would like, oh my gosh, it's midnight and I haven't gone to bed. And then you try to close your eyes, and of course you just keep seeing the words on your screen and you're in the back of your head. You just cannot fall asleep. So yeah. Oh, and watching TV. You should watch TV. If you're going to watch TV before bed, I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. Like, I'm not going to tell you to stop watching TV. This is your choice. But if you do have issues with sleeping, then definitely TV watching before bed is not a good idea, and probably not TV watching in your bed either. So yeah, working on your computer, watching TV right up until bedtime. These can be either in bed or out of bed. I wouldn't recommend them. So what you should be doing, though, is turning off your electronics at least 1 hour before bedtime. And I put 1 hour before because I know it's not realistic for people to go up to 2 hours, but if you can, then definitely 2 hours is better. The longer, the better, because you're then preparing your body and preparing your mind for sleep. You're not stimulating your brain so much. The next thing is caffeine. Don't drink caffeinated beverages afternoon. And I've gotten into this habit like the last month or so. Actually, I've gotten out of this habit the last month or so, and it's so amazing how much better sleep I get. Because right before Christmas, I was going through this bout where I wasn't sleeping very well. And I'm like, oh man, not again. And it was because I was going to Starbucks and I was getting those Christmas lattes because if you got 5, you got one free. I mean, it's ridiculous, but getting those Christmas lattes, and I was drinking caffeine at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, whatever, it's just a latte. No, 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 no. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't able to fall asleep. I stopped doing that at Christmas because, I went away and then I stopped working and went to San Diego. So I haven't actually been back, and I am, doing really well with the caffeine in the morning and not in the nighttime. So instead of caffeine, you should be drinking herbal tea or some kind of sleep promoting tea if it's at nighttime. Obviously, don't drink sleep promoting tea at 3 p.m. That's not a good idea unless you're planning on having a nap, which is fine. I actually do drink coffee in the morning, and I'm not going to tell you not to drink coffee because that's just not realistic. I know I like having a balanced lifestyle, and if it gets too hard to do it, nobody's going to do it. So just drink caffeine in the morning. If you like your cup of joe, that's great. The one thing though that I would say is if you're using coffee to give you energy, then that's not good, and you need to find something else. If you like it just because you like the taste, which is why I drink coffee, then that's fine. Just keep with it. Keep with your little Java fix. All right. The third one is meals. So eating a big meal before bedtime. And this is something that I really notice when I do it. Cause like sometimes, you go for dinner with friends and they're like, oh, we're going to meet at 8 o'clock. And then 8:30 comes around, 9 comes around, and you haven't eaten yet. And I'm not a very late night person. So if I'm going to bed at even midnight and having a big meal, oh my gosh, I just can't sleep all night. So that's definitely one. And oh my gosh, let me just check my notes. If I didn't put this, then I'm going to say it now. No, I didn't. Oh my gosh, alcohol. Try not to drink alcohol at nighttime either. And this is something that I did over the holidays, and it was like, oh, it was awful. Heart palpitations. You can feel your liver like working in the night, and that's just not pretty. So, so eating a big meal before bedtime, not a good plan. Eat your meal. If you're going to eat a big meal, eat it, 3 hours before bed. So it's better actually to eat smaller meals throughout the day, but if you do have a big meal and if this is part of your tradition, then I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but definitely try to make it as far from your bedtime as possible. I actually love the Irish tradition where they have their biggest meal at lunchtime, which is awesome because it gives you so many hours to actually digest. If you are hungry at nighttime though, and you do want to eat something, because I don't recommend going to bed hungry either, so have a small snack. My favorite snacks are cucumbers and cheese, almond butter on an apple. Sometimes I do have like a piece of toast with peanut butter after a workout, but that's just because like sometimes I go to Zumba at nighttime and then I'm hungry. And so, but try to make sure you're just staying away from sugar and from, big heavy carbs. So that would be my tip for nighttime eating. And then the next page is don't bring your work into bed with you. So really don't do anything in your bed except sleep and intimacy. This is just a great rule because if you're bringing things and you're doing things in your bed that don't involve sleeping, then your body is just going to start thinking of your bed as a place where you're awake, and that's not what you want to happen. So if you are waking up in the night or you're not able to fall asleep and you're just tossing and turning and you're awake, lying down in your bed, you need to get out of your bed. You need to not lie in your bed. And this is a rule that I give to my clients if they aren't sleeping after about 10 minutes of lying down in their bed and they're tossing and turning, or if they wake up in the night and 10 minutes go by and they can't fall back asleep, I actually tell them to get out of bed and do something that's going to relax them. Even just a change of scenery sometimes at the beginning, it will really help you. So, and if you wake up and you're in the living room and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep, and you are literally awake the rest of the night, you might have to do that until your body regulates itself. So it might not be fun at the beginning, but you'll see it will help a lot. So do make sure that you're reserving your bed for sleep and sex. Those are two things that you can definitely do in your bed. Yeah, so that's what I would say on that issue. The next thing is electronics. So electronics, you want to make sure that you're keeping your electronics away from your head. And this is because of electromagnetic frequencies that are emitted from all electronic devices. And actually, if you go even further, like you can buy these grounding sheets that you can put over your bed to prevent electromagnetic fields, frequencies from reaching your body. I think that's a bit extreme. I don't personally have one, but if you're really, really sensitive, that is a good idea. You can try it. And so, yeah, so I said before with the TV, like keep TVs out of your room. If you can, at all possible, keep like routers or computers or any kind of, Wi-Fi device outside of your room, laptops, iPads. And then if you're planning to, so you can either leave the electronics at least 10 feet away, which if say you're using your iPhone or your phone as your alarm clock, if it's 10 feet away from your head, chances are you have to get out of bed to reach it. So if you have problems with hitting the snooze button, you can use that option. Or what I do is I actually put my phone on airplane mode so that the receiving and emitting functions are turned off. And then I can listen to my podcast going to bed, and I can also just make sure that my alarm goes off too. So that's another option. And then the next one here on this slide is exercising at night. And I just actually, I kind of just like broke my own rule because I'm going to Zumba tonight, but these are all tips to help you sleep. And I sleep super well now. So even if I exercise at night once in a while, it really doesn't have an effect on me. But if it does have an effect on you, then this is definitely something you want to consider, not exercising at night. Yoga is actually awesome to be doing at night because it's really, really relaxing. Even Pilates, but anything that's going to raise your heart rate a lot is probably not a good idea. So rather than doing that, better to exercise first thing in the morning or early afternoon. Morning is best if you have consistency problems. If you have issues like the day just got away from me and I didn't have time, all that. And actually, I'm training for a half marathon. We started our training on January 6th, and I have a calendar that I'm looking at right now that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 X's on it in a row that I've stuck to my training. Today will be 15. So I'm pretty excited about it. But this is all because of community and support. So that's another thing that I'm not going to talk about right now. But yeah, so exercise when you can, fit it in. Just try not to do it at nighttime if you do struggle with sleep. The next one is don't go to bed late and sleep in late. We talked earlier about going to bed at 9 or 10 p.m. and how having more sleep before midnight is really, really great for your repair and restorative qualities of your body. But there's also another reason is that your circadian rhythm, your natural cycle in your body, your hormone cycle, is not made to go to bed late and sleep in late. It is made to go to bed when the sun goes down and wake up when the sun comes up. And that's actually our natural sleep cycle. But because of all these lights and technology, and we've just screwed up our cycles so much. So this is actually a really great, there's a great idea that one of the ladies, Lorene, who's in my Facebook group, Lorene, if you're on the line, hi. And she actually said like, oh guys, let's do a retreat and go camping. Because camping is actually an amazing way to reset your circadian rhythms. And that was actually an awesome idea. And I am considering it for some point in the future, some kind of a health retreat for entrepreneurs. So stay tuned. But yeah, so going to bed late and sleeping in late, I don't care if your excuse, you're like, I'm a night owl. It's just not true. It's not true. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. And honestly, when I talk to people who are on the phone who say that they're night owls, I'm like, oh yeah, how well are you sleeping? And they're like, yeah, not so good. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about that. So yeah, go to bed early, wake up early. It is so peaceful when you wake up when it's early in the morning because like the rest of the world hasn't figured out that it's peaceful when you wake up early in the morning, and they haven't clued in on the secret. So keep it a secret, because we don't want to be up out running in the morning when there's a whole crap load of people around us. When I was in San Diego, I would wake up at 6:30 a.m., which was actually pretty easy for me, because that is, or 6 a.m., because that's like 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I was like, oh, this is easy as pie. But I would wake up and the sun hadn't risen yet, and it was just so beautiful. And we had a hotel on the water, on this little bay, this little inlet, which is a private inlet. So you could just go running in the morning, and it was beautiful, and you'd see the sunrise. And I'm now back in really, really, really frigid, cold Montreal weather, and we're getting apparently the biggest storm of the year. So woohoo. All right, so let's move on. So the next thing is, don't just hop into your bed when you're finished your workday. And that's something we talked a little bit about earlier, is people who just think that they have to work up until they go to bed, and you just don't. It's not true, and it's really not conducive to sleeping well, sleeping properly, falling asleep, staying asleep. It's just not good all around. And then I do want you to take time to relax and de-stress before bed. Like, honestly, okay, here's one thing. If you're not stressed out and you have a super easy peasy life, and you can just go to bed and fall asleep, then power to you. That is so awesome. But most people, the majority of people who live in our modern day society, are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They have way too much on their plates, and they don't take the time to de-stress, and they don't have the tools. They really don't. Even though they're floating around all over, they don't have the tools, or they have the tools, but they don't know how to apply them, or they don't have the commitment or the accountability to do them. So if that's you, please, 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 please watch till the end of this webinar and take me up on my offer. And the next thing is sleeping pills. I talked to you earlier about my options when I was going through my insomnia bout, and one of them was sleeping pills, and there was no freaking way I was doing sleeping pills. I actually did take sleeping pills. Like, oh my gosh, my bad. When I was trying to get into medical school, I was really, really stressed. And I took sleeping pills. I took them for 2 nights. I hated the side effects so much, and they didn't even work. So I just stopped taking them. And so I do recommend that you take sleep promoting supplements or herbal remedies. There's a lot of teas, sleep promoting teas, that help. There were some interviews from my sleep summit that I can share with you that had amazing resources for the types of like herbs and remedies that you can take, and foods to eat before bed to help with sleep. There's a lot of resources. So if that's something that interests you, you can email me, and I'll send you the link to buy that upgrade package. Okay, so all right, so we're at the end of our content, and I wanted to just to give you a little bit of a summary before I share with you this opportunity. So we talked a little bit about my story, then I gave you some success stories about my clients, and then we talked about reasons why you should sleep and why sleep is so important for your success. Then we went into my sleep routine. We talked about relaxation techniques, then we did do's and don'ts. Guys, we went through a lot of content today, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I've been talking super fast. So I'm so sorry. I'm so jazzed up right now. I don't know why. I got like 2 new clients this week, and it's just like, it's just so awesome. So anyway, so that's what we covered. And so yeah, if you have any questions for me, please email me. You can reply to the email with the link for this webinar, or you can just email me at leannesoller@gmail.com. And so here we go. Here's the opportunity. So I am going to offer you a free Sleep for Success session, and I call these different things. I've offered similar sessions a few times and have had like almost 100 people take me up on them. And they're free. So if you want to have a free session with me, then definitely click the button below that says Let's Talk, and it's going to take you to my calendar. I only open my calendar up for 3 days at a time, so you will only have availabilities tomorrow and Friday. I don't work weekends, so tomorrow and Friday. And if any of the times, if you can't find a time, or you really need absolutely to schedule a time next week, please email me and let me know and I'll accommodate you. But what I want you to do next is, if you liked what we talked about, and then that what we went over in this training, and you think that it might help you, to get a personalized sleep for success session, then I want you to get on the phone with me. And what I need you to do, though, before getting on the phone with me, is really get clear on what it is that you want to get out of the call. So, I offer 30-minute sessions, and I want to give you as much value as possible. So rather than me asking you hundreds of questions to get at what it is that you need from me, I just want you to get on the call and tell me what you need from me. So I'm going to ask you some questions that will help me just clarify where you're at. And then you can ask me some questions. And then from there, I will create a personalized step-by-step plan for you to help you get the sleep you desire, if that's what you're struggling with, so that you can skyrocket your success in your business and in your life. And I'm going to just preface it here. If you are a good fit for my program, my Live Your Dream Lifestyle program, I'm going to invite you to join. I don't want that to prevent you from signing up for this session, because there is no push. There's no, I'm not going to push you into joining. If you don't want to join, you don't want to join, that's it. But I will give you that opportunity to join me for a year if it's something that I think is a good fit for you, and if I think I can make changes and lasting results in your life. And I want you to remember those success stories from my clients where they came to me and they were like really struggling, and they had very little hope that they were actually going to be able to get helped. And their lives changed. And it was because they made that commitment that they were going to be able to do it, and they let me guide them, and they let me help them, and they trusted me to help get them through. And I know that a lot of you might be worried and confused and not sure if this is the right move for you. So I don't want you to make any decisions. This is why I didn't pitch you my program right away, because I want to get on the phone with you, and I want to find out about you, who you are, what you're like. I don't present my program to everybody. So if you are a fit, though, I will invite you to join. But the perk about getting this free call is that you do get advice. You'll get some coaching. So that's what I'm going to offer you. So there's a Let's Talk button right underneath this video. It's pink, a big pink button with white letters on it. And I want you to just click on it, and you are going to be taken directly to my calendar. So go ahead and click that button. And I can't wait to talk to you. And I'm so excited, you guys, because this is going to be such a huge shift for you. And I have been so blessed to talk to you all. And thank you so much for being here. There's quite a few of you on the line. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will talk to you all soon. And I love you all so much and all that good stuff. So have an amazing night, you guys. Much love. Bye.